This is a short video for parents of grade 1 learners on how to help them with reading and spelling homework. The information in this video will explain how the brain reads, show how words are analyzed in class, and also it will explain how the homework tasks and worksheets must be done for the best results. Okay, so let's quickly look at how the brain learns to read. This is a picture of the brain from the front. So you can see that reading takes place in the left brain, and in the left brain most of the time. So this is the side view of a left brain, and we are looking at the three parts of a word and how that is processed in the brain. So let's look at the three parts. First, there is the meaning of a word, like the word bat. It means the thing that you hit a ball with, or even it could also mean an animal. And then the second part is the sound of the word. You can hear the word makes a sound, and there are also sounds within the word. And then the very important third part of a word is its spelling, and that is what you see, the vision part. Now, you are born, any child is born with connections in the brain between the sound the word makes and the meaning. So that is why children learn a language when they are small. They can learn new words and they acquire a home language. But the brain does not have the connections between the sound of the word and the letters, what you see. And these connections is what the grade 1 child must develop. And everything we do in class must target the development of these neurological pathways. So let's look at the first example. We've got bat. So the B, which is the letter, which is the one that you see, says B in the word bat. The letter A says A in bat. And the letter T says T in bat. So if a child learns to read, he needs to listen to the sound that the letters make in order to read it and to spell it. Now let's look at another example. This one is said. Now look at this. S says S. AI says E. And the letter D says D. Right, so in the beginning of the year, you receive these two instruction pages for the hard words and the spelling. So we are going to dissect these two into a little bit more detail, so that you can get a good idea of what we're busy with. Right, so in class, they have the class reader. This is a book that doesn't go home, and in this book there are pages that do go home, and you will know these pages. And then there are also pages in the class reader that they only use in class. Right, so in your flip file you have these pages for practicing spelling and reading at home. So let's look at them individually. Right, so this is the spelling page. Now, it's very, very important on this page that one sound goes in one block. So the example over here is n, e, t. So there are three sounds, 1, 2, 3. N is the first sound, E is the second sound, and T is the third sound. And the reason why we must use sounds and not letter names is because the child, when he reads, must put these sounds together to form the word. So he will say n, e, t, and then the sounds must be put together to get net. And while we're doing this, we are building the neurological pathways all the way. Okay, so let's quickly look at this line over here. So these words give you the breaking up clues. So let's look at net. There's the n, and then there's a dash, and then there's the e, and a dash, and then the t. Let's look at the next slide, because that will give you all the words on this page. Right. Let's quickly look at this last one. This is a verb, a doing word, and it's in the present tense. So he gets it now. So that is actually a unit that tells us the tense. Now, sometimes this unit might look like this, ed, which is the unit for past tense. Sometimes it's ing, which is the unit for, also the unit for present, but present continuous, I think. And over here, this is the unit for plural. So these letters actually, and these units, they change the word into something else. So we want children to be aware of these units, and we start doing that in grade 1 already. Even though the texts they read are pretty easy and straightforward, but sometimes this gets into the mix, and we need to make the children aware of this. Okay, so this is what the spelling words look like in class, how they do the processing. So on the big whiteboard in front of the class, everybody sees this, and they go through the words one by one. Over here, so the sound here is p. And please listen carefully, it's not p, it's p, because p is the sound all alone, but p is actually p, so we don't need the there, it's only p. And then we've got the lips underneath. Remember, all of this is done in class. This is not a part of the homework, but just so that you can get an idea of how we analyze the words. Right, so this is a pop, and right here in the beginning we are going to sound it out by only using a token and no letters. So it's p, a, p. And now we count. We say p, a, p, 3 letters. Next, we are going to do the letters together with the sounding out. So it's p, a, p. And then we write it underneath p, a, p. And we sound it out again by touching the dot under the sound. So it's p, a, p. And then we read the word together. Pop. Right. This slide is just the summary of everything that we did there, just for your information. But again, you don't need to do this at home. It's just to give you an idea of what's being done in class when the word analysis is being done. Right, here is another example. Oh, yes, this is the one with a unit for present tense. But let's see. G, E, T. And it's got 3 sounds, and it's G, E, T. And G, E, T. G, E, T. And we read the word together, get. Right. But there's an additional analysis being done in class, and it looks like this, because now we want to look at the unit. So we've got get, g, et, and there is, okay, the word is get. Now it's gets. So it's g, et, and s. That's the unit. And there's this, it is over there, g, et, s, gets. So we make the child aware of the unit that indicates the tense. Okay, now sometimes you have seen a little heart underneath some sounds. Now we teach the S says S, but the S can also say Z. So at this stage, there's a heart underneath this, because it indicates that this is not the usual S sound. It must change. So it is actually, the sound it makes is Z. Okay. Right, now let's look at the hard words. Right, so let me give you a bit of background on this. Previously, grade 1 learners got a sheet like this, and the instructions were: say the word, mommy say the word, the child says the word, and they practice it, and they must just try to remember what the words are. But there's no analysis going on, and the analysis is how we build the neurological pathways. So this technique doesn't work very well, because if the child has 100 of these towards the end of the year that he needs to remember without any analysis, it's almost impossible. So we're not doing this anymore. We are now analyzing the word. So definitely I will show you in the next few slides how the analysis for the hard words are done. But at home, all you need to do is you need to write the word in the blocks, and the memo is underneath, so that you can see exactly how it works. And the heart is around the sound that's a bit funny. Right, so for the O there is taught as the sound O, O for orange, O as in on, but over here it's not O, it's O. So you can just say the sound that it makes and tell the child that this sound is a bit different. And then you can write it, or he can write it, and he can practice reading the words underneath. Okay, so the dots is just to give the child an idea how many sounds there are. For example, let's look at the word R. This is a word with a silent E and we don't say it. That is why the E is together with the R there in the same block. It doesn't have its own block because it doesn't make any sounds. Okay, so the teacher has this in her manual, and it will tell her exactly what is the difference. So the child gets the information in class that the U in this word does not say ah, it says ooh, and therefore the heart. Okay, so let's quickly look at how this will look in class. Right, so it's again, we put the heart around it and we do the dots and we sound it up, ooh, t, and it's 3 sounds, p, ooh, t, and of course the heart around the ooh sound, and then the t, and then we read it. Okay, so in summary about heart words, so we use the heart with letters that does not sound the same as the sounds taught in class, and these are 2 examples. Was, this makes z, and in put, the U makes an oo sound. That's the one reason why we use a heart. And then the second reason is words with letters and sounds that have not been taught yet. For example, the. Now, the is a very important word for a grade 1 learner because you can't read almost any sentence without being able to read the word the. But the, which is the TH, is only taught later in grade 1. So we teach the word as a hard word. And the same for said, and this just helps the kiddies to read texts and sentences. Right, then the fluency grid. So on the fluency grid you have your spelling words, and we also read the spelling words because reading and spelling, they go hand in hand. So this one we would like them to read the words and not write them. Right, so it's the same 6 words that are repeated in a different sequence in each line, and it's just to practice sounding out and getting fluency up and running. And if they can't read the word by vision immediately, they must absolutely sound it out. Reading the word automatically by vision, just seeing the word and then reading it, is a process, and it takes quite a bit of practicing to get the brain to do that quickly. So building the neurological pathways, still practicing. Okay, so the sentences, look at how many hard words there are in these very, very simple sentences. So you can see over here that they get a lot of practice practicing this, the hard words. Now, when your child read these hard words, they can't sound it out. And if they don't remember the word at this stage, you can just tell them what the word is and they can repeat it. They mustn't sound it out because it can't be sounded out because they haven't done the sounds, and the sounds sound very, very different from the sounds that they've done up to this stage. Okay, so in your flip file, you will get a story and sometimes also a reader. But at this stage, the reader might be different to the story. The reader might be the reader for the previous week's story. So it won't necessarily match, but that's not a problem. It's all about practicing, practicing, practicing. Okay, so remember what we are busy with. We are busy with building the neurological pathways between sound and vision and the letters and what they see all the time. Very, very important. That's how we build it. So please contact your child's teacher should you have any questions or concerns. You are part of a team, a very important team, because you, together with a teacher, is actually changing your child's brain so that he can become a reader.